and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and in tonight's top stories, we start with your Crime Blotter report. Here's News Channel 8's Wes Small.
We're in the area of Market Street in Frederickstead, and we're going to tidy up some matters on the Crime Blotter with Virgin Island Police spokesperson Melody Rames. Some interesting and some puzzling notes. First of all, we're going to hear about a man who was coming out of a restaurant in this area recently at around 10 o'clock at night, and he was cold cocked, just like bushwhacked without being seen, knocked unconscious at around 10 o'clock, and he didn't wake up until 7 o'clock the next morning. That was his story. And also, in Hannah's Rest area, report about a man who shot himself in his leg. That story, Melody Rames will be addressing as well.
Police on St. Croix are investigating a robbery first degree that was reported to them by a citizen. The victim told police that on Thursday, March 5th, at about 10 p.m., he was returning to his car after purchasing food from a business on Market Street in Frederickstead. He said an unknown male struck him on the left side of his face with an unknown object. The victim said the blow knocked him out, and he came to at about 7 a.m. Friday, March 6th. He discovered that his keys and about $1,000 was missing. The victim reported the robbery to police at about 3:45 p.m. on Saturday, March 7th. The injuries to the victim's face were photographed by the investigation detectives. The case will be followed up by the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Also on St. Croix, police responded to a case of an injured person at about 3:15 a.m. Saturday, March 7th, in the area of the Caribbean Melting Pot nightclub in Hannah's Rest in Frederickstead. Police traveled to the area. However, the victim was already en route to the Juan F. Louis Hospital by private vehicle, according to the initial police report. Police attempted to interview the 30-year-old victim at the hospital. However, he was incoherent and was unable to speak to police. Hospital officials said the victim sustained a gunshot wound to his right thigh, which exited his buttock. Also on St. Croix, police are investigating an attempted robbery in the first degree that occurred on Sunday, March 8th at about 7:25 p.m. According to the preliminary report, the victim was walking in the Estate Diamond area, but a black Dodge Neon with tinted windows pulled up beside him, and the driver got out and approached him. The suspect said, "What do you have on you?" And he attempted to put his hand in the victim's pocket, and the victim resisted. The suspect then shot the victim in his left hand, and the bullet also grazed the side of his abdomen. The suspect then got back into his car and drove off. After the encounter, the victim walked over to the Juan F. Louis Hospital for treatment. The suspect is described as dressed in all black with a black mask over his face.
In the area of Market Street, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And in other top stories tonight, the medical examiner on St. Thomas has been borrowed and used at the Juan F. Louis Hospital here on St. Croix. However, there seems to be a problem in the pay structure for his visits down here to St. Croix. News Channel 8's Wes Small investigates.
It seems like St. Croix always gets the short end of the stick. Cruise ships, a lot of cruise ships in St. Thomas Harbor, hardly any on St. Croix. Now, it's a medical examiner that we need. Dr. Francisco Landrum says enough is enough. He is owed monies for at least 24 autopsies that he's performed here on St. Croix. To clear this matter up, let's go to the Department of Justice spokesperson, Sarah Lazama.
In a recently published media report, Dr. Landrum declared that he was going to withdraw his services to St. Croix because he had not received compensation for a number of autopsies that he has been called to perform on the Big Island. Of course, that declaration is of great concern to the Department of Justice, as Dr. Landrum is currently our only working medical examiner. The Department of Justice is making every effort to compensate Dr. Landrum for his services on St. Croix, and he has been assured personally by the Attorney General that an outstanding substantial payment is currently in process. When we lost Dr. Michelle Dupree in July of 2008, it put a strain on the department, and Dr. Landrum was then instructed to serve as the St. Croix medical examiner as well, in addition to his duties as in the St. Thomas St. John district. Dr. Landron gets paid a regular salary for his duties as a St. Thomas St. John district medical examiner, and in addition to that, he gets paid for each additional autopsy that he performs outside the scope of those duties, and the department bears the cost of his travel in addition to those expenses. So this is something that was not necessarily in our budget, something that has put a strain on our budget, and we now have to find the funds to pay Dr. Landron, and it's those additional monies, not his regular salary. He is receiving his regular salary timely. It is those additional monies for the autopsies that he performs on St. Croix that we have fallen behind in those payments. But the Attorney General and the Department of Justice has assured Dr. Landron that we will do what it takes to make sure that he is paid. And as I said, we are in the process of getting a payment to him right now. The department is closely looking into the possibility of creating a territorial medical examiner's position. Currently, there is a position for a St. Thomas, St. John District medical examiner, which Dr. Landron fills, and there's also a vacant position for a St. Croix medical examiner, and that was formerly Dr. Dupree's position. There's a possibility of combining the positions into one. However, that adjustment cannot be made until the start of fiscal year 2010, which doesn't begin until October. So in the meantime, Dr. Landron's services are critical to filling the void left behind on St. Croix, and we are doing everything in our power to make sure that St. Croix is not left without the medical services that are afforded to the rest of the territory, and we hope that Dr. Landron will do the same.
Thank you, Sarah. At Kings Hill Cemetery, I'm Wes Small for News Channel.